Jungkook really remove his tattoos? Why? During BTS's surprise live at the LA beach, did his tattoos once clearly etched on his chest and arms suddenly seem to vanish when his shirt slipped open? Was it just the sunset lighting, a camera trick? Or is there a deeper emotional story hiding beneath the surface? ARMY, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because what unfolded during BTS's spontaneous beach live-in Los Angeles has left millions speechless, shaken, and filled with burning questions. The members were all there, laughing, teasing, enjoying the warm sand and the sound of crashing waves. It should have been a carefree, golden moment of unity. And yet, in the middle of all this joy, something happened that froze ARMY's hearts around the globe. Jungkook, standing in front of the camera, hoodie slightly unzipped, chest exposed, just enough to catch a glimpse. His tattoos were gone, vanished. The iconic symbols that once told the story of his journey seemed to have disappeared into thin air. But how? Why now? And what does it mean? The live started innocently enough, Jin cracking jokes, RM's laughter booming in the background, Jimin chasing after Taeyang, while Jungkook, as usual, balanced his role between mischief and tenderness. Yet when the camera panned closer, and the fading light of the California sunset touched his skin, ARMY's eagle eyes caught the shocking detail. His chest looked bare, unmarked, untouched. No tattoos, no words, no symbols, just skin, smooth and strangely empty. Fans filled the live chat with frantic comments. Where are his tattoos? Did he erase them? What happened? The questions flooded in like unstoppable waves. For years, those tattoos had been more than ink. They were chapters of his life, whispers of his secrets, his passions, his loves, his battles, even his connection to ARMY. Each design had been analyzed, theorized, even immortalized by fans across the world. To see them vanish so suddenly was like watching a part of Jungkook's identity slip away. Could it have been the light, the glow of dusk on the Pacific shore, softening the contrast of his skin? Could it have been makeup, a cover-up applied for an upcoming shoot or project? Or had Jungkook truly decided to erase the marks that had become part of his soul in the eyes of millions? What made the moment even more powerful was his silence. Jungkook did not mention it once. He smiled, he played, he teased ARMY through the screen, but not a single word about his tattoos. And yet, his eyes betrayed something, a fleeting glance, a subtle lip bite, a pause that seemed to carry weight. Could it have been a silent message? Jimin's reaction only deepened the mystery. At one point, as Taeyang jumped onto him playfully, Jimin laughed, covering his face, but just before that he had glanced quickly at Jungkook's chest. His eyes lingered for a fraction of a second, and then he looked away, as if he had seen something he wasn't ready to acknowledge. Was it coincidence? Or had Jimin been caught off guard by the missing tattoos? ARMY knows Jungkook too well. He rarely does anything without intention. His haircuts, his piercings, even the smallest fashion choice, everything carries a meaning. So what if the absence of his tattoos wasn't a mistake or a trick of the light, but a deliberate statement? What if Jungkook was silently telling ARMY, I'm starting again. I'm entering a new era. I've let go of something old to make space for something new. The emotional weight of this possibility is overwhelming. Those tattoos were not just symbols. They were promises. They held initials, numbers, designs that ARMY had tied their hearts to. To imagine them erased feels like losing a shared history. And yet, maybe this is exactly what Jungkook wants to explore: growth, evolution, the shedding of old skin to embrace a future untold. The live itself was raw and unscripted. No glamorous stage, no stylists, no rehearsed interactions. Just BTS and the ocean, which makes the disappearance of the tattoos feel even more authentic, even more shocking. Fans around the world replayed the live endlessly, zooming in, taking screenshots, comparing every frame, desperately searching for answers. Some swore the tattoos had simply faded, barely visible under the lighting. Others were convinced they were gone completely. This is where the heartbreak lies, because ARMY has always believed those tattoos were more than personal, they were shared. Jungkook had carved a permanent connection to them in ink, a reminder that no matter how far, no matter how difficult, ARMY was always by his side. If those tattoos have truly been removed, does that mean the chapter they represented has ended? Or is Jungkook preparing to write a new one? Even without saying a single word, Jungkook has managed to ignite a storm of emotions. Silence has never been so loud. The sight of bare skin where ink once lived has become the most discussed moment of the night, overshadowing even the laughter and warmth of the group. And perhaps that is exactly how Jungkook wanted it. Fans can only wait, hearts in their throats, for Jungkook himself to reveal the truth. Did he cover them? Did he erase them? Or is there another layer of meaning waiting to be unveiled? Until then, speculation will continue to swirl, theories will multiply, and ARMY will remain restless, caught between nostalgia for what was and anticipation for what's to come. What's certain is this: on that beach in Los Angeles, Jungkook once again reminded the world that he doesn't need grand statements to shake it to its core. A single glimpse, a single unanswered question, was enough to turn a sunset live into one of the most unforgettable moments in BTS history. So, ARMY, what do you think? Were the tattoos really gone, or just hidden? Did Jungkook erase a piece of his past, or is this all a riddle he wants us to solve? Share your theories in the comments below. Hit like if you're as shocked as we are, and subscribe to stay updated because this mystery is only just beginning. And Jungkook has never been one to reveal his secrets easily. To truly understand why this moment at the LA Beach Live has shaken ARMY so deeply, we need to go back in time, back to the very first moment when Jungkook's tattoos entered the public eye. It wasn't simply about ink on skin. It was about courage, rebellion, individuality, and a quiet yet powerful declaration that Jungkook was not just an idol, not just a performer created by the industry, he was his own man. When fans first spotted the letters ARMY on his knuckles, the internet exploded. It wasn't just a tattoo, it was a love letter etched permanently onto his body. ARMY didn't just exist in his words or songs anymore. They lived on his skin. And with each new discovery, every little design added, fans began piecing together the puzzle: a crown here, a microphone there, even references to family, dreams, and freedom. Each symbol turned his body into a canvas of his life story, a diary only he could write yet one the world could read. And now, years later, to see all of that potentially erased, it feels like reading a book, only to find its pages ripped out overnight. The beach live was supposed to be about joy. The members laughed as the waves splashed at their feet, their playful energy bouncing through the screen. Jungkook, as usual, balanced playfulness with a calm maturity. Yet ARMY's eyes were fixated on one thing and one thing only: the absence of ink. Some cried in disbelief, some refused to accept it, replaying every second, desperate to catch a faint outline. Others whispered theories. What if he covered them for a photo shoot? What if he's preparing for acting? Maybe a film role requires clean skin. Maybe he wanted a fresh start after enlistment. Or maybe he's sending us a secret message. Theories spun wildly, but none came with answers. And perhaps that's the cruel beauty of Jungkook's silence. He lets ARMY wonder, forcing them into an emotional labyrinth with no exit until he decides to speak. Flashback to 2020. Remember the era when Jungkook first dared to reveal his sleeve tattoo in full. The courage in that moment was unforgettable. Some criticized, some celebrated, but Jungkook never wavered. He owned his body, his choices, his identity. He was no longer the shy 15-year-old trainee who had entered Bigot with wide eyes. He had become a man unafraid of carving his truths into permanence. That is why the disappearance now feels even more earth-shattering. To go from permanence to absence, isn't that the greatest contradiction of all? What makes this even more intriguing is how the other members reacted or perhaps didn't react. Namjoon, usually the one who subtly drops clues with his philosophical comments, stayed unusually quiet. He stood beside Jungkook in the frame, his smile calm, but his eyes flickered, as though he noticed what ARMY noticed. Jin, ever the jokester, kept the mood light, but even his laughter couldn't distract fans from what was missing. Taeyoung, playful and carefree, wrestled with Jimin on the sand, yet a single glance toward Jungkook revealed something unspoken, a look that said, "We know, but we won't say anything yet." And then there was Jimin. His connection with Jungkook has always been unexplainable, a bond too deep, too complicated, too layered with history. If anyone would understand the weight of Jungkook's decision,